Welcome to Sex with 10. I'm Rebecca Rosenblat, certified relationship and sexuality therapist and your host, here to answer your questions on all things intimate. Whether you're stuck in a relationship dilemma, have issues with your body, trust, trauma, addiction, or orientation, or just need a little help with turning up the heat in your bedroom, give us a shout at 1-800-968-7836 and let's chat. Everything's fair game. If you've thought about it, we can talk about it. We've been talking about betrayals and recovery. Obviously, the latter is nearly impossible without rebuilding trust. So tonight, we'll be concluding the series with just that. And to help me with the discussion, we're being joined by an expert in the area, psychotherapist Barb Kirkham. Barb is the director of the Mood Disorders Program at Bay Ridge Counseling Centers. She obtained her master's in counseling at the University of Toronto and has years of experience focusing on various aspects of emotional and mental health, healing both individuals as well as couples. So it's my pleasure to present her to you tonight. Welcome and good evening. It's so good to have you joining us tonight.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's nice to be here.
I know it's late. You worked very hard and we're going to work you even harder.
Okay.
When a betrayal happens, it's one of the deepest wounds because someone we trusted with our lives has acted in untrustworthy ways. And unlike other lies, which may pertain to an isolated incident, intimate betrayals make us question everything, from whether or not a person loves us, to if they've ever loved us, to what else they may have lied about. Very painful indeed. As such, most people feel that trust can never be rebuilt. So Barb, perhaps you could begin our discussion by commenting on whether or not trust can indeed be rebuilt.
And Rebecca, absolutely it can be rebuilt. Is it easy? No. But when both people show up willing to do the work in order to get the results, yes, for sure.
Absolutely. And that's the key, though, that both of them are equally committed and they're willing to do it at any cost. And you and I both see some remarkable results. And people who thought they'd never rebuild trust, they're so excited that they got to a place even better than before. So it's worth the work. Viewers, if you found yourself on either side of that painful equation, tonight's a great night to get expert advice from two infidelity experts. So don't hesitate to call in. Now, how do we know if someone is really trustworthy in general?
Well, I would say that do their actions meet their words? Okay, so sometimes people can talk a great game, but the actions don't follow. Okay,
inconsistency.
And then each time we have a disappointment where they promise something and they don't follow through, trust is eroded, and that makes us feel like we can't trust them.
Exactly. So there has to be congruence.
Yep.
And also, even when we look at people talking, some people, they have a tendency to embellish a lot and they tend to break rules whenever they can get away with it. So you just kind of start to wonder, how far is this person willing to go? I mean, everybody tells little white lies, but we're talking about deeper lies and breaking the rules and trying to get away with it. So I guess looking out for that as well. Yeah,
and do their actions again meet what they have as far as a moral compass? So
exactly. Exactly. So again, it comes down to walking the walk and not just talking the talk.
Right. Absolutely.
What about someone who we thought was trustworthy, but they broke our trust?
That can happen for many reasons, and that trust that can be broken can be from a fidelity point of view. It can be from a safety point of view too. So
that's a big one.
And so what happens there is that the trust is broken, and then we have to figure out how to take steps to rebuild that.
Rebuild that.
And that's where the the therapy part of things really comes in, because most people don't know how to put it back together once it's been pulled apart.
And especially in case of infidelity, like I'll say to people, you're asking questions of someone you don't trust, so no matter what they say initially, you're not going to believe them anyway, so why put them or yourself through that? So that's where the therapist comes in, and the whole therapy process comes in really handy, because there's a neutral third party, a professional, who can help you negotiate that maze and figure it out. And I like that you mentioned safety. That's a big one. And even fiscal infidelity. my gosh, how many people they lie constantly about money matters.
Yeah. Financial infidelity comes into the room all the time.
All the time, and it's, in some ways, the aftermath of that can last years after a relationship is over.
Yes.
It can be really, really taxing. But people don't seem to count that. I've seen couples where one party was sexually unfaithful and the other party has been fiscally unfaithful for a long, long time, but they don't seem to see the two even in the same ballpark.
Yeah, not even close to equal, but they are.
They're both impacting, and trust is broken in both cases.
Yes.
Viewers, if you're struggling with trust, call and join our discussion. Now, Brene Brown uses braving as an acronym for elements of trust. Thank you so much for sending me that clip. That was such a powerful clip. So maybe you could talk about the acronym and what those pieces represent.
Okay. Well, the B stands for boundaries. In a relationship that's built on trust, we need to have boundaries that sort of define where we start, where the other person starts, and so that they don't overlap. Okay, because what happens is that if we encroach into what other people's space, like, well, it's kind of like a backyard.
Right.
Okay, everybody knows not to go plant flowers in somebody else's backyard, but in a relationship, those boundaries get blurred often.
All the time.
Yeah, and so the other part, so R is for reliability. This is, if you say you're going to do it, do it. Because otherwise what happens is that trust gets eroded each time we don't follow through with what we say we're going to do. Okay.
And it kind of overlaps what you were saying earlier. So if if you say you're gonna do something, do something.
And it can be little things too, like you said you were going to make dinner and then you didn't, or you said you were going to make dinner and you did. That gains trust. Okay?
Absolutely. So you're better off not promising something that you can't intend to keep, or you don't intend to keep.
Right. Don't do that. Or don't overcommit.
Don't overcommit. Yeah. So the whole promise less, deliver more kind of thing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so A is for accountability. Okay.
It's a big
and that is, if you make a mistake, own it. Okay. And the other part is that if you you should be able to be in a relationship that's in a trusting relationship. You should be able to make mistakes and be forgiven. Okay.
Absolutely.
And sometimes people forget, that.
Yeah, because we are going to make mistakes, and I think one of the things that I'm sure you've seen it too, but I see it with couples all the time. One of the reasons that they stop being honest is they tried to be honest, and their partner just didn't give them the safe space to come clean on something. It could be something little, and they learn very quickly what's the point, and they'll say it in therapy point blank. I want to tell her or him everything, but I can't because I'm afraid of the reaction.
Yes.
And I'm afraid of what the reaction is going to do to them as well as the relationship. And some people think, oh, that's a cop-out, but in fact it's very true. If you're not going to give them that safe feeling to speak up, how can you expect them to be open and become trustworthy?
Yeah, and the V in braving is vault, and this one's really important because what happens is that what people tell us, not just as therapists but as people, needs to go in, because they when we trust someone, we share our secrets, and if our secrets end up trickling out or going and being told to other people, we no longer trust. We know that we have to keep a lid on that. Yeah. And
Brene Brown's clip, she was talking about how her daughter shared something with someone, and before the end of the day, everybody in school knew.
Yeah.
And so it really needs to be a vault where we keep the secret, and we know that we can trust this person with our secret.
Well, and the other part too is that what some people don't think about, and Brene did a great job at explaining, was that sometimes gossip betrays trust.
Absolutely.
Yes, because now we know that if they're telling us dirt on someone else, we can't trust them with our secrets.
Absolutely. And this is the thing that amazes me. People think, oh, they'll sit there, they'll be part of that whole gossip thing, and they don't realize if they're telling you about someone else, they're going to tell your secrets to someone else as well. And the whole thing with gossip is the person's not there to defend themselves. So it can be so damaging. Viewers, if you struggle with any of these elements of trust, call in right away to get some advice on how to negotiate that.
Okay, so the I in braving is integrity, and this is, you know, having your moral compass and living by it. Okay, and what you say is how you act.
Right.
Okay, so moral code and things like that, and the G is generosity, and it may not be what you'd think. What it means is being generous in what you assume about someone.
Right.
Okay, so oftentimes we can assume the worst, okay, and then have to be, you know, it's kind of be proven guilty until shown to be innocent.
Right.
And this is they're innocent until proven guilty. So if they do something that hurts our feelings, that we're, you know, generous in how we approach them. So giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think that is so critical. And it's funny, there was a study that said that we'll do that for our friends. So if a friend says they're going to call and they don't call, we say they must have gotten busy, something must have happened, and we can give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll give it to our children as well. But when it comes to our partners, we have such a hard time. We assume the worst and we respond to it as if it's actually happened.
Yes, and sometimes actually what happens is our response actually is the self-fulfilling prophecy, where, you know, they kind of go, well, I'm guilty anyway, I might as well do it.
Might as well do it, yeah. And I know that John Gottman also talks about, you know, building trust in those little moments and being very, very generous in giving the person the benefit of the doubt. And the more we're able to do that and not catastrophizing everything as it happens, it's better for us too. It's better to say, oh my gosh, my partner's late, I hope they didn't get a flat tire, instead of assuming the worst, and it's not good for them, not good for us either.
Right, it steals your peace.
Absolutely, it steals our peace. Viewers, if you've either discovered ways to trust again, or maybe you've become stuck, please call us right away to share or maybe sort through what's on your mind. Any other comments that you have on rebuilding trust? I want to talk about forgiveness a little bit too, but any other comments before we move to that on rebuilding trust?
Well, there's plenty of research out there that says, you know, rebuilding trust is something that happens incrementally with the little things.
The little things.
Yeah. So again, it was another example from the clip that I sent you is that, you know, if you walk past your partner and you see they're upset, and you take the time to, you know, check in with them, you build trust.
Absolutely.
If you turn away from them, you erode trust.
Yes.
Okay. You know, when you meet their needs, you build it.
Absolutely.
When you choose not to, you erode it.
You erode it.
Yeah.
And just the you know, the generosity part, that's so important too. I've had many couples where one party or the other really wanted to go to a particular event that was going to be hurtful to their partner, but man, they had to go to that event. It was so important to them. And I said to them, the event is going to be over that night. It's finite. It'll be done. But the pain and the damage that you cause, it's going to be infinite in many ways. And people still don't think about it. They go to the event, it's done, they wake up in the morning, and meanwhile they've left their partner really, really hurt.
Really hurt, yeah. Especially if, you know, someone they've been unfaithful with is at the event or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, oh, you know, I'm fine, I have to go because this is an important event for me. But you know what, like, what are you thinking? What about your partner? And another thing that comes up often, I'm sure you hear as well, is when the person says, it meant nothing, or the other person didn't mean anything. And the partner is devastated. Their whole world has fallen apart, and they're thinking, do I mean less than nothing?
Than that,
yeah. So do you have any comments around that?
Well, infidelity, especially, you know, sexual infidelity, I mean, it's basically like blowing up a grenade in the trust department.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so, you know, as far as the value that you put on the other person, I call it the offender and the offendee.
Right.
The offender has some work to do. And that work needs to be done in a way that is very engaging and very purposeful, and it comes genuine and is very thoughtful.
Thoughtful.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, really important points, and I just want to, when we come back, we'll be running off to break soon. I want to talk a little bit about how forgiveness fits into all of this. So hold on to that thought.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Keep your calls coming, and let's discuss sex, relationships, romance, or whatever else rocks your boat. And keep it locked on Rogers TV, because we have lots more great stuff still ahead, including your calls. So pick up that phone and call so we can connect.